Okay, we're back, and the answers to your questions are here. Go through for yourself and do the calculations. They're all fairly self-evident, and you need to memorize all of these: public savings, taxes, private savings, national savings, and investment, which will equal national savings. Okay, this identity comes up again and again. How a tax cut affects savings. This is in the news right now in terms of the Bush tax cuts. Okay, or if you've heard of the fiscal cliff that we're about to fall off, here's the cliff, everybody says, and they say we're going to walk, and then we're going to fall off the cliff, and then here are sharks, man-eating sharks, okay, with a big fin. Okay, they have big teeth. Okay, so what will happen if they save the full proceeds of the tax cut? What will happen if they save a quarter of the tax cut and spend the other 3/4? Take some time to think about it. Pause the video. Welcome back. So in each of these, public savings falls by $200 billion and the deficit rises to $500 billion. So in the first scenario, if they save the full $200 billion, national savings is unchanged. So investment is unchanged. However, in the second scenario, they save $50 billion and they spend $150 billion. So national savings and investment each fall by $150 billion. Okay, so here the tax cut has no difference. Here, investment goes down by $150 billion. Okay. However, what this doesn't mention is consumption goes up by $150 billion. Okay. This all is what was a huge part of what was called the stimulus package a few years ago. This is much more realistic. Okay, people are going to spend some. Okay, they're not going to, very few people are going to save 100% of what you give them. Okay, now some definitions. Private savings, you just need to memorize this. It's what is left after taxes and consumption. So here are things they can do with their savings. They can buy that, which I think is good. They can do that, which is safe but not necessarily good. They can do that, or they can do this. Okay? Don't do much with checking accounts. Just leave 1 month of savings in checking account, 1 month salary. After that, put it in other investments. IMHO. Okay, I'm going to say this over and over again. Remember, right here. So investment is purchasing new capital, and here are some pretty typical examples. Okay, this is what's called bricks and mortar. Building factories, building buildings for businesses. This is another type of investment. Computers, the iPad that I'm actually doing this lecture on right now in front of you, okay, is a capital investment purchase for Wayland Academy. And then the biggest one on a personal level in this country is homes. Okay, homes is a very big deal. Okay, however, note that it is only new homes that are built. Okay, when we resell a house, that is not part of investment. Okay, that was part of investment in the year it was purchased. However, I want to keep pointing this out because people screw it up over and over again. It is not the purchase of stocks and bonds. Okay, it is only investment, capital investment. Okay, so the market for loanable funds. Okay, this is very important. However, I want you to make certain you note on the next slide to look at the axes first. Please look at the axes. Okay, for this example, we're going to assume, we're going to keep it very simple now. There's only one financial market. There's only one place to go for bonds. Okay, and all savers in the economy use this. There's going to be no imports and exports, and that there's only one interest rate. Is this realistic? No. Okay, but it's the best we have for this simple example. And here's some more identities. The savings come from households having extra income. Public savings, okay, if it's positive, there is a supply of loanable funds. Okay, if public saving is negative, okay, then that shrinks the supply of loanable funds. And most of that should be fairly common sense. So here's what it looks like. Notice the axes. This is the interest rate. Okay, and all of this should be fairly common sense. Okay, when the interest rate goes up, people will find a way to sacrifice the money they have and to add it to the loanable funds market. Okay, if right now I make almost no money on savings accounts, so I don't put it in there. However, if there was a savings account that was insured by FDIC paying 7%, I would probably put all of my extra money in there. As a matter of fact, I would probably try to consume less and put more of the money in that safe investment. Okay, one thing that Dr. Mankiw doesn't do that other books do, okay, is Dr. Mankiw thinks that this is a fairly inelastic curve, but a lot of other textbooks think that the curve is even more inelastic. Okay, and I would agree with them. That the supply for loanable funds looks like that. Okay, but for this book, we will trust Dr. Mankiw. Okay, however, I want you to read and memorize this box. And with that, I will pause, and we will go on to the next lecture.